Hey, control the trade here, and we're getting ready for earnings tomorrow. Today is January 28th, 2020. Boeing reports in the morning on January 29th. So we're going to take a look at this chart, and this is one messy, ugly, crazy chart. Now, all charts do act and react the same way, generally speaking, but this one is just a disaster. So we're going to need some clarity from I think we'll get some clarity from the earnings tomorrow. I think that Boeing is so market reactive, headline reactive, that the earnings are just going to be so interesting to see how the market takes the information. I mean, if it takes it positively, then the Dow is going to soar tomorrow. Uh, Conversely, if there's any negativity, then Boeing is certainly going to go below 300 without a doubt. And I guess it'll be a little tug of war between Boeing and Apple to where the market's headed. Because Boeing has a pretty big weight within the Dow. So anyway, let's go back to the chart. That's what's important here. You can see that there's a low here, 302. See, 302.72. I was looking for Boeing to go under 300 that day. That was a really tricky day. And this happens a lot with Boeing. It just gets flushed, and then you get these long tail candles as a result. They're all over the chart. And this is a hard stock to trade, in my opinion, at least for me. I mean, certain tickers to me seem easier than others, and this one just falls into the category of like what the fuck category. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just if you watch Boeing, it's really manic. I mean, look at some of these candles here. You can see there's just no rhyme or reason most of the time, and it's usually the same headlines over and over again. And whether there's a reaction or not is always to be determined. So don't listen to the news. Is just such nonsense. You have to remember that. I say that all the time. It's what I learned too. I'm a little more harsh about it maybe than how I learned about the news. I just think it's such complete BS. You go through my Twitter feed, you'll see a bunch of times where I've referenced that. Just tonight, even, I just saw the most ridiculous headline. So check my Twitter feed out for that one. It was about the coronavirus, and it'll eventually come to an end. So that's why the Dow went up today. I mean, that's just, are you fucking kidding me? Come on. Like, think of something a little better. Anyway, back to the video, the chart. I went on a little rant there. So you can see I always have my important numbers drawn in here. Usually they're dashed lines, like an orange or red dashed line. So I like to kind of look back and see where this has gone. Now, it's easy to forget that Boeing, just not that long ago, was under 300. So again, if it has a bad reaction, the market has a bad reaction to it, it's going under 300. It just is. I'd be shocked if it didn't. So where's it going to visit? I've been eyeing 294.91. So maybe 295, 296, somewhere in that area. I think to really see this a better picture here, I'm going to go out onto the weekly chart and then the monthly. Let's look at the weekly. You always want to look at different time frames. You can see the 200-week moving average is down at 275.62. So that is something to note on a really hard flush. You want to be aware of that number. Now, we're not going to know anything until the market opens tomorrow. And it's really how the price moves can make a big difference. If it's moving really fast, then I usually look to find where strong support would be for a bounce. If it's creeping lower, that is very, very bearish. The creeping moves are almost worse than when you're getting that like hard flush. Because when you get the hard flush, you get that reaction usually. When you get the creeping, slow drip, torture, if you're on, if you're not shorting it, if you're shorting it, that's great. Then it just keeps trickling down. I'm sure if you've traded enough and watched enough charts, you know what I'm referring to. On the flip side of that, when you have a bullish chart, nothing better than a slow moving stock that's just kind of climbing the stairs slowly, like a slow escalator, rather than that kind of like trampoline jump up, because then it's gonna hit the ceiling and just crash back down again. That's usually how it goes. The speed actually, to me, the volume, the speed. I say speed. That's just, I think that's my word for it. But that the velocity of the moves, I feel like make a difference. It's a kind of a feel thing though when you're watching a stock though. All right. So again, this is a tough chart in my opinion to find the different levels on. I mean, this is a nice looking candle here, but we didn't really get much of a follow through right here this week yet. I mean, it's only been what, 2 trading days. Let's go to the monthly. And this is a totally impromptu video. I probably should prepare for these, but I like to just look at a chart and just see what stands out. So now we have the monthly, and 265.72 is the 50-month moving average. That's interesting. Again, maybe that's too low. And my 294.90 still looks good to me. So we'll see how it opens. How about the bull case? I mean, there's a lot of room to the upside on the bull case, which is interesting. So let's say it opens up, and there's a positive reaction. I've had this 335 line drawn here for a while. That seems to be important. Look for yourself later if you want. You can see how many times price went down and up through that number, or just came down near it, and it would either react off it and go up, or it would crash through it and then it would become resistance. Right now we're in that resistance phase. Getting above the 50 period moving average is always a good thing. So there's also a lot of gaps up here. So if it starts going up, it is going to fly, no doubt, because of so many gaps. And buying begets buying. If there's any shorts out there, they're going to start covering. So again, we just have to wait to see how this thing opens. I'm not even going to try to give any specific numbers, but I would say again, if it's going down, I'm going to look under 300. If it's moving up, then we can start looking at 335 as a potential first stop. I mean, you could look at the 20 period moving average, but I think it'll just slice right through that, which is 326.88. I think it'll just pass right through that. It will probably get resistance around, all right, let's really look at this, 332, 333, somewhere in that area, up to 335, and then certainly around 340 we'll have resistance. Look at that, 339.75 was the high of this candle. And what do you know, the 50-day moving average? Oh, kind of close, 341.33. So pretty close there. There's 341.73. I was in the wrong candle. And then you have your 100 and 200 day moving average up here. And another important line that's been drawn there for a while. I think that's 359. That's always been important as well. So just be aware of these numbers. You can always refer back to this video. And yeah, just remember, don't let remember, make money. Don't lose money.